Hey guys, Dre here with another video for you, and yeah, on this one, this is going to be one of those videos again, and I don't do these very often. I might do these once or twice a year, but I always know they get people talking, and I always know that it raises awareness of certain points, because when I say serious things, people tend to listen, which is pretty cool. So, yeah, there's a few points I want to bring up here when it comes to video making and the state of the community. So, hence the title, State of the Community 3. Yeah, I've done 3 of these now, believe it or not. That says a lot. I think it says a lot more about the state of the community than it does about me. And to be fair, last time I did one of these, it was more of a response to Alex Armageddon. Thank God he's not around anymore. And to be honest, yeah, this is not entirely a negative video, because I know people are going to go into this with a preconceived notion that I'm going to put everybody on blast. No, that's not how I operate, and it's certainly interesting, and you know, there's some interesting points that are worth discussing, I think, and you know, I think they're worth bringing out to a larger audience and talking about these things, rather than having all the secret animosity and occasional Twitter fire between YouTube makers now and again. I thought it'd be probably for the best just to get it all out in the open. And like I said, it's not entirely a hate-filled rant, it's not entirely negative, it's just some things that are worth discussing. Or some things that I've noticed in the last few months that I thought were worth bringing up. First up, the mod scene, and this is something that I know Tiamat Marduk, you may know as Benji, as I call him Benji for all intents and purposes, brought up a couple of weeks ago, or not a couple of weeks, a couple of days ago, actually, and, you know, it's one of those things that definitely I think is worth talking about, and that's F1 2014 on the PC as opposed to the consoles, and I'm going to come straight out and say I think the modding scene has changed the F1 community, in the sense of, I think it's given PC players a bit of an advantage. And there's positives and negatives to this, and I'm not going to flat out condemn anyone who plays the game on the PC. The PC is the best gaming platform in the world. The best gaming console in the world is the PC. So, you know, I actually go out and applaud anyone that's got the game on PC, because one, it's a different game entirely, and two, you're playing it on the best possible console, so fair play to you. And to be honest, the mod scene works in good and bad ways. In a good way, it works because it gives people that are more creative, for example, things like helmet modifications and livery designs and livery changes, it gives them, it gives them more creativity, and it gives them a platform to be able to get themselves out there, which is a good thing. And, people like that deserve exposure because they do a brilliant job, and, they're obviously very, artistically gifted to be able to, go on Photoshop and create this mod and, be able to edit and, do a really good job with the certain things like skin liveries, and I'm seeing Arav now do more of like mod liveries, and they're brilliant. They're absolutely brilliant, and they absolutely deserve, it absolutely deserves, it deserves absolute praise for it, because they're brilliant. And if I had a PC, I'd be playing with these modifications too, and they're awesome. So anything, I think, to extend the life of what is a very, very mediocre Formula 1 game this year, I think should, absolutely be used. And, and in many cases, the mods make the game better, in the sense of, the storm modification, the more realistic sense of rain, the more realistic tyre wear, for example, or, more realistic tyre look, you could say, as the tyres wear out, the extra tracks, etc., etc. Essentially, they make the game better, and that should be applauded. And many developers have mod scenes that make their games better, like Skyrim, for example, on the PC, as a game that has a big modding community, etc. So, I'm glad that co-modders have embraced that and have let people be able to mod the game to a degree. So that's a good thing in the most part. The only downside to all this is that I think it's becoming a little bit too strong of an influence on the community, in the sense that there's a lot of PC players out there, a lot. Like Ben, Arav, Gillen, who when he was making videos, Alex, Zafro, for example. There's a lot of Alexes in the community, good lord. Zafro, Cal, Tom97, etc. You know, like Eterno is another one. All dudes who play on the PC, and unfortunately, it's a bit of a punch to the nuts if you're if you're purely a console player like me, because unfortunately we don't all have that same, that same ability to be able to use PC modifications, because let's be real here, mods are an easy way of getting good views, because you can make videos like, example, here's Sebastian Vettel in his Ferrari livery, and you have the Vettel helmet now on the Ferrari mod, and you can make a video about that and cash in on some good easy views by doing things like that. And I'm not condemning anyone who does, because quite frankly I would too if I was in that position. But unfortunately, the downside to that is it can kind of skew the community a little bit, and it might give PC players an edge over people on the consoles, and that's a small shame, quite frankly, because not everybody can afford a big gaming PC. Not everyone has the ability to be able to download mods and be able to make videos in like that in that department, so to speak. So which is and that's a small shame, but that's just the reality of the situation, and that's a little bit unfortunate, but people are going to miss out on situations like this, which is just, a bit of a raw deal. But, the modding influence, the amount of modded careers I've seen now are getting too damn high. Like, it's ridiculous how many modded career modes we're seeing now. Like, Arav kind of set the tone really by having an ultra mod career, which, quite frankly might be the best of its kind on YouTube. It's a brilliant series, and Arav deserves all the props in the world for what he's done for it. He does an outstanding editing job with it, and he's a machine when it comes to pumping out great content, and that's awesome. But when I see other people doing it, it's like, God, this is really taking over, isn't it? Like, shit. Like, what am I meant to do with my standard career mode using a controller? It's like, what am I meant to do? It's a little bit difficult in that sense, but that's going to be a thing. That's always going to be a thing. My next point, can we please stop accusing other people of copying ideas? Like, this shit's really getting on my nerves, because, I don't like talking about other people's problems, but people keep dropping it in my Ask If Anyone box, saying, like, Dre, what do you think of this guy and this guy doing this, this, and this, and what do you think of this guy copying this guy's idea? And I'm like, people. F1 2014 has about as much modes as Sebastian Vettel has world championships, and one of those modes gets completely ignored, and that's scenario mode. And scenario mode is meh, because quite frankly the game is too easy when it comes to scenario mode. It's easy. You can clean clock it if you're even if you're a casual player. Like, and I'm semi-casual. Like, I'm somewhere in the middle between casual and hardcore. And it's piss easy for me, so, like, what's the point, really? You know what I mean? So it's like, like, the community has now gotten to the point where there might be 100 to 200 different video makers out there, and career mode has sucked in this year's game. It's had no innovation besides trying to make the game mode smaller, which makes no sense, quite frankly. Like, the flexibility of it has gone up by being able to start in any team, but even that's kind of killed the intrigue or the point of a career mode being entertaining in the first place, because instead of rising through the ranks and getting to the good teams, instead you can just bypass that process entirely and just take a big team on, or only do a 7-race career. Like, why would you encourage your players to play the game less? I don't understand. But career mode has shown no real innovation in the last 3 years of F1 games, since 2012, really. And 2014 is no exception. It's even more cookie-cutter than last year, quite frankly. No soul, no passion, generic mode, same lack of ingenuity as last year, really. And that's unfortunate. And frankly, in a game that only has 11 teams this year, and no one is touching Caterham and Russia with a barge pole this year, because on any decent difficulty, it's impossible to do well in those cars. So, and not to mention, career mode videos in general, if you're not starting from the back, tend to be rather boring if you're not a really good player. And I say that because the way the game is structured is fundamentally flawed. You overtake a bunch of people on lap 1 when all the AI cars are going slower, and then you're furiously defending for the rest of the race to try and stop them all from coming past. And that's easy to do because the AI is so flawed in the F1 games. So, being real with you here, I know the growing trend in this year game has been co-op careers as well. Like, I've seen Samuel and Initialization do one, I've seen, obviously, Tom and Cal do one, and I'm sure there's others out there that are doing it as well. Like, there's no such thing as copying in this community. Like, you don't own an idea, okay? You don't own an idea. People are doing modded careers left and right. It's up to people to put their own spin on things and be a little bit more creative in what they're doing. Like, the game is fucking limited. Like, you have like 4 modes here. Like, you really think your idea stands out? Like, seriously, it really doesn't. It's just a boiled down version of something else. Like, for example, the Hamilton challenge I'm doing on my channel is essentially a career mode, but I start from the back with a good team. Like, that's all there is to it. The game is severely friggin' limited. It's not like FIFA where you can do a career mode. You can have an ultimate team and have a whole bunch of ultimate team ideas. Or you can have a career mode with like every team under the sun you could choose from. Like, so there's going to be more ingenuity in FIFA because it's a much more expansive franchise to work with. Formula 1 is not like that. We have quick races, online, like career mode, and then you got online play. And seriously, your idea isn't original. Stop throwing salt on Twitter because someone else has done the same mode as you. It's inevitable. It's going to happen, okay? Like, be more creative rather than sit here and dish out salt at people who are trying to come out with a co-op career mode. It's inevitable people are going to copy you. And you know what? I shouldn't even be using the word copy because it isn't really copying. It's just doing the same mode. The F1 games are severely limited. So I'm not totally blaming the people that are salty. I'm more blaming Codemasters as a developer for creating a half-baked F1 game with only a handful of modes to use. As video and content creators, that gives us a challenge in the first place because we have to be ingenuity. We have to show some ingenuity and, you know, try and be unique as much as we possibly can. And that is difficult, quite frankly. It is difficult when Codemasters are producing 6 out of 10 racing games. So please, do us a favour. Instead of throwing salt at video makers, give Codemasters some feedback as to how to make a better racing game. Because if Codemasters make a better racing game, there'll be more for us to do, quite frankly. So, as much as people want to be frustrated at other content creators, I think quite frankly the abuse and the frustration is being directed at the wrong people, personally. So, can we please just stop that? Like, we're better than that, quite frankly. At least I'd like to think we're better than that. On top of that, like, misleading titles and search engine optimization, I thought we were beyond this. Like, seriously? Like, for me, can we just all do a favour and just stop putting F1 2015 in your video titles, please? Like, we know exactly what you're doing, and the people out there that are doing it know exactly who they are. And I know YouTube is all about optimizing the search engines to try and get more subscribers and more views and whatnot, and I know certain people are more guilty of this than others. But I thought we were beyond this like 3 years ago when Mickey Motions was putting hot Latina girls in his video thumbnails and acting like his career mode was always a year ahead. It's not like that, so please stop acting like it is. Like, because I know exactly what you're trying to do. You're trying to get ahead of the game. When people start talking about F1 2015 and they start searching for it on YouTube, they'll find your videos from last year, playing last year's game. And, like, that annoys me. You're blatantly abusing the system. And I don't like when people do that. And, you know, it's a thing that I don't think will ever change because people are, you know, that infatuated with getting as many video views as possible and, you know, making that YouTube money. Maybe it's more of a complaint on my end because I'm not financially motivated to do these things. I mean, fuck, my last machinima paycheck was like $19. Do you think I'm doing this for the money? Fuck no. So, not even close. So, you know, I don't like when people abuse the system. Like, tags are one thing, but when you're blatantly putting F1 2015 in your title, acting like it's next year's game when it isn't, and you're being misleading to the dumb viewers out there, don't. Like, I think it shows insecurity more than anything else. Like, why can't your video hold its own on its own merit? Why do you feel that you have to change your title or be misleading in order to, you know, get an extra views? Like, why can't it hold up on its own count? That's what I've always had the belief of doing. And finally, can we please support more league racing, please? Like, we have a mediocre F1 game on our hands here, and the single-player stuff is boring as hell. Like, I would be a league racer if I was actually any good at the game, and I'm not, and I'll be the first guy to admit that. Like, support the league, support leagues, please, rather than all the bitchiness. Like, support the leagues, yeah, because if anything, there should be a platform for showing off the game at its best, and that's why I'm glad guys like TRL Limitless have got like 4,000 subscribers now, because the dude is brilliant. Matty is the most well-rounded YouTuber of the bunch. He can play well, and he's an excellent commentator. He's arguably the most naturally gifted guy to play the game on the pad in the world today. And I'm glad he's finally getting his dividends when it comes to YouTube growth and success, because the dude deserves it. He's brilliant. And, you know, support the leagues, yeah? Let's celebrate the game be it at its best. And I'm glad guys like Fizzy, for example, has like 12,000 subs, because the guy is a legend, and the guy does brilliant, brilliant work. And I'm glad that more of the speed-infatuated YouTubers are getting credit, because they deserve it. Like, I'd rather see the game played well than people seeing videos like me, and I'm humble enough to admit that those guys are better video makers than me, and those guys should be embraced and celebrated. But yeah, there's my general thoughts on a lot of things on YouTube at the moment, and, you know, I'm not trying to spread hate or anything like that. I'm just trying to get my thoughts and views on things out there, and I know people will listen, I know people respect my opinion when it comes to these things. So please, all I ask is that you be respectful in the comments. You don't have to agree with me. You never have to. And to be honest, this is the open internet. If people want to disagree with me, there's more than enough platforms you can do that. And, you know, not like I could stop you if I even tried anyway. But as long as you show some respect towards me in the comments and my thoughts, then that's all I ask. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. And yeah, I'll catch you guys next time. Sayonara.